Hi everybody, it's Brianna Casey, excited to be finishing up week 4, so let's get started. From this week's reading, we read chapters 8, 9, and 16 of Louis E. Catron and Scott Shattuck's The Director's Vision, Play Direction from Analysis to Production, 2nd edition, 2015. In these chapters, we learn how music is an important part to your directorial vision, how the visual aspects of theater, such as set design, lighting, costumes, and so on, are more than decoration, but an art form that shows the audience the wonders of a production story rather than tells it. And we also learned what a ground plan is, what it includes, such as furniture, walls, doors, etc., how to develop a ground plan, and the overall components of the ground plan. In my personal opinion, one of my favorite things about being a director is the design and construction of a production. This is where your director's vision comes to life, where you get to see your ideas become reality on stage. But as Chapter 8, Music, the Sounds of a Play explains, it's not just about what we see on stage, but also what we hear. In Chapter 8, Catron and Shattuck 2015 emphasize how important sound effects are in shaping a production. Sound isn't just something extra that we add in at the end of the production process. It's actually a key part of how we communicate the world of the play to our audience. After all, sound effects can help establish the environment, like using sitting noises to suggest a busy street. And they can also help reflect a character's emotions, like music building in the background as a character comes to an important realization. An example I can think of for this is Disney's Rapunzel in the movie Tangled, where she realizes that she's the lost princess, and you can hear that music slowly crescendoing in the background as she has this huge epiphany on screen. Reading through this chapter, something that stood out to me was how easily a sound effect can either make or break a scene. If something big happens on stage, say a car crash, but there's no sound to support it, no collision, no honking, no swerving, that moment can feel confusing or incomplete to the audience to the point that they don't understand what happened in the scene. They might not even register that a car crash happened on stage. I think it's easy to underestimate sound design because it's not always something that audiences consciously notice, but it plays a big role in helping them understand what's happening. As directors, we have to be intentional about using sound to support our vision and fully complete the world we're trying to build on stage. As teachers, I think it's important that we teach our students not to underestimate design in theater, especially sound. The second idea I would like to discuss comes from Chapter 9, Spectacle, the Visual Aspects of a Production. From this chapter, we focus on a concept that really connects to design and construction, the style of a production. Style is described as the way a director expresses their vision, as if it's what's making productions feel unique, even when that play has been performed many times before. One of the best examples I could think of for a style is Tim Burton. When people hear the name Tim Burton, people almost immediately think of like gothic, black and white movies. Movies examples could be like The Corpse Bride, Frankenweenie, The Nightmare Before Christmas, all Tim Burton, or at least I think most of them are. What stood out to me was the contrast of representational and presentational styles from this chapter. Representational style focus on reality, creating a world that feels like a real lived-in environment on stage. This is something I tend to lean into as a designer, especially in more serious productions, because I enjoy researching history and finding the little details that can help build a world, whether through set design, costume design, or projection design. I enjoy finding ways to make the stage feel authentic, almost like the audience isn't watching a play, but looking into a character's life. On the other hand, presentational design is much more abstract and relies heavily on the audience's imagination. Instead of building a realistic set, it simplifies the space and allows the story to be told in more creative and often playful, exaggerated ways. What I find interesting is that neither style is right or wrong. It all depends on the director's vision and the story they're trying to tell. Design and construction, even in a high school play, are not just about making something look good. It's about making intentional choices that support the overall meaning of the play. One of the many reasons I love design and construction is because it helps transform a script into a living, breathing world. Not just one audiences can see, but one they can hear and feel emotionally. It's something that audiences are able to connect to. It's about creating a complete experience for our audience. And as directors, it's our job to make sure that every element on stage works together in order to bring that world, that play, that cast together in order to make this whole thing come to life, to make this story come to life. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.